Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. So, Will, if you want to share my screen right now, I have my Wakelet collection pulled up. So again, I'm Alex Isaacs. I'm very excited to be here today. If you'd like to just scan a welcome message, it's right there available to you. One of the great uses of Mote is being able to have a QR code and get that audio out to people who are viewing it or scanning it. So I have really a Wakelet collection filled with resources for you, whether you are an expert with Mote or just starting off. So if you scan the QR code on this landing page, it will bring you to this Wakelet collection. I'm going to be sharing it later on Twitter X and probably Instagram as well. But I'm an ed tech specialist in the Long Branch Public Schools District in Long Branch, New Jersey. I'm at Mr_Isaacs_math. That's a lot to say. And I would love to connect on X and Instagram. All of Mote's social media pages are available on the right side. And as Will said, I'm a Mote certified educator, ambassador, and ambassador leader, and I couldn't be more proud. Mote is really a platform that is in my top 2-3 ed tech tools for so many different reasons, but mostly because of the impact I saw it have on my practice and my students' progress in math. So for me, these are just some of my reasons why Mote is a go-to for me. It's one that I have to incorporate into my practice. Now, something that's really nice that you're just going to see throughout my presentation is you're going to see how Mote integrates into different platforms. And this is actually a Canva embed on this Wakelet collection, where if you go in here and hit play, you'll be able to get a little bit more in-depth understanding of what I've really done with this platform over the years. But these are some of my main thoughts as to why I just absolutely love the platform. It's saving me time. It's giving me more meaningful feedback to my students. I've even dropped Mote messages to my partner Lois around Christmas time when I was sick with COVID. So it does filter its way into my private life as well. It's accessible and inclusive for all learners. It's making materials elevated, integrate seamlessly into many websites, and it really is going to help build that caring classroom community, plus excellent homeschool connection. The built-in transcript ability that can be translated by others, multilingual learners and their families. It's second to none, and I really feel like that allowed me to get a lot further with my students when I taught math at Red Bank Middle School. So if you did miss our sessions, our pre-conference sessions with the amazing Christina Holzweiss and Eric Kurtz, they are available in this collection. We'd love for you to check those out. Eric did an amazing presentation that combined both Mote and Conquer, which we'll also be getting into today later on. And then Christina talked about ways of really elevating your library with Mote and did an amazing job just picking out some entry-level activities that could be used by everyone. So at this point, the theme of my session is about amplifying, enhancing creativity. I think that is basically all I'm known for these days. So I'm trying to work on losing the word amplify so much. But I really do believe in giving our students those creative opportunities so that they're able to shine. So this is Wakelet and Mote, probably my two favorites that integrate perfectly together, where I recently created an interactive timeline template and example that I'm going to share with you right now. So you can see that I have built-in Mote messages that are lovely players right here that if I click play, I don't think that I'm sharing audio, so I'm going to stop it right there. But what you will see when I mute this is that you will see my transcript coming up right there for you to read. So really enhancing that accessibility in one space. And again, the fact that it integrates with Wakelet where you don't even have to jump to a landing page is just a real difference maker for me. But as you scroll down, I have examples of different column titles that you can use. And I always really believe in providing examples to my learners, my colleagues, everything else. So this is a Mote interactive timeline that I created that could kind of be used as an alternative assessment as compared to a basic report on a famous historical figure. So you could see that basically through each of the different portions of JFK's, very famous life, I provided some type of Mote explanation. But it doesn't have to end with simply an explanation. Students could take on the accent of whatever character that they're adding in and use Mote to have it kind of be a very low pressure way of presenting themselves, presenting content in new and innovative ways. So you can see I've got YouTube and I have Mote. I took the speech, the space race, we choose to go to the moon speech. And then in addition to providing that for viewers, I also provided why it was impactful, how it impacted people at that time. And then the best thing, I did have the opportunity to present this previously at a Wakelet session, but my dad, He's going to be 70 this year, this fall. He was able to produce and embed a Mote message. My man, Dave Isaac, so I love him so much. He was able to do this. So you're going to hear a lot of people over the next 2 days talk about how simple it is to use this. A 70-year-old soon-to-be man was able to do this, embed it in, and share his ideas, his memories, his feelings from the day of JFK being assassinated. So this is an excellent way to really bring historical figures to life. And I'm going to share another activity that does that as well in just a few moments. So this is the type of collection where you can come in, make a copy of it, and then you're able to edit it to fit your needs. And what I'm going to lead this into is actually a Mote Autobiography. Now, I'm offering you this as a Google Slides template, but you could incorporate this into a Wakelet just as easily. But what I really want to share with you is it's back to school time. We're all looking for activities to get to know our students. And what I was thinking about with this Mote interactive timeline, and I provided you instructions. There's actually a tutorial video, I believe, on the Mote Learning Zone. I'm providing you an opportunity to let your students, your kids, really chronicle their life in a very interactive and more meaningful way. And I kind of went back and forth between providing samples to you and also providing you template slides. So for me, I actually went back to my first home in New Jersey and took a picture of it. I included my birth certificate that is linked, but I also included these different Mote players that allow me to provide a little bit more of an explanation about me where you can get to know me. And again, that is almost like an extension within the extension where when you're in Google Slides, you go to open the Mote recorder. So sometimes you get that where you have to log in. I can do that in between sessions and we'll be fine. But the great thing about this is that if you scroll over, whether or not you have the extension installed, you can click play and you're going to hear that person who recorded the Mote message. So I have it where you could talk about your birth and early life. You could talk about your high school years, depending on how old your students are that you want to get involved. And then I also incorporated a SMART goals template into this where, you know, I set a goal for becoming an ed tech specialist in Red Bank. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to work with my amazing partner, Lois, in Long Branch. And it just really allowed me to get more in depth, build that connection with anybody who chooses to want to learn more about me. And I shared this with my students this year so that they could better get to know my goals and my dreams. And then I also incorporated into this template a family interview. Now, again, I bring up my dad because he's not the most tech savvy guy. I've had to do some amazingly long troubleshooting sessions with him over the phone. But at the same time with this, you can have a visit to a family member who experienced this time that you're talking about, or someone in your life that you simply want to get more of what you learned about yourself when you were a baby or a young child. I provided you 8 different questions here that I think would be great. I can guarantee grandparents would love these questions. They would be out of their minds to be like, oh my God, my grandchild's coming to me asking me about what you remember when I was a baby. So all you would do is really just interview that person and you would record a Mote and then bring it in. And you would have this as like an interactive interview that you could share with anyone and then place a picture of whoever you interviewed. So you can really get that familial type or that connection with others. So I would love to see people making copies of this template. And I've got to compliment Will. He was so kind about this template, saying that, love the use of this. And I never really promoted this one fully on any social. So this is really the first time that I'm talking about this. And I'm just so excited to really share this. Hope you make a copy of it and have your students really shining, sharing more about themselves. Now, the next opportunity that I'm going to share with you is a Mote Wax Museum. Now, this is something that I don't know how familiar everybody is with a wax museum, excuse me, but basically what it is a student mimics being a person from history that was important, or really anybody that would be worth memorializing, so to speak. So this was actually released this week on the Mote Learning Zone. Very proud to be contributing to that amazing space of ideas. And basically, I also included what it takes to learn more about a wax museum. So that's available to you here, right in this Wax Museum project link. It will explain it to you. But basically, students are going into a gym or a cafeteria or some collaborative space where parents and guardians can visit. And there's usually like a little red button in front of them. And then the kid will have to either read or kind of glance at a note card and then kind of say their lines. Now, I'm speaking from my experience, both at a Catholic school and a public school with learners from anywhere between 3rd to 8th grade. I feel like having to be on with multiple people, pressing the same button over and over again, reading that same script. I feel like not only can that be repetitive, but it's also kind of nerve-wracking for that student. So what I really tried to do was make it more accessible, allow students to take that agency with what they're going to produce before an actual project gathering where their parents are coming in. And I kind of just labeled different parts of a historical figure's life that a student could then create a QR mote and then place it in. Now, let's put it this way. You want to hear me act like I'm Walt Whitman? I created a bunch of QR motes just for you kind of see it in action. But think about the creative opportunities that we would be giving our students where they wouldn't have to be doing it live in real time. They'd be able to simply focus on offering more choice to people who are attending the event. Because what I did is I kind of threw out some different ideas over here on the right side of the screen where you could link a QR code to their paper on the historical figure. You could link it to a different type of game, maybe a Conquer AI quiz, Will. I'm sure you're smiling backstage right now. Maybe we could link a Conquer AI quiz that relates to your historical figure. So there's just so many different opportunities that are going to come about with that prepping, that ability to just say, you know what, I'm going to press a record button and I'm simply going to be able to record my message and then embed it as a QR code. I don't have to be on. I don't have to be repetitive. I don't have to have those couple of people who go, I'm going to press on the button really quick over and over again to make you start and stop. I've seen all of this as a teacher in my years. I felt for kids who had to deal with that and be under that pressure. So I feel like this is a great middle ground where if you scan those QR codes, you're giving people choice at a wax museum. I love giving attendees choice where, all right, I want to hear about his later years. I'm going to scan that portion. I want to see this, this talk about why he was important. I'm going to scan that one. So I really would encourage you to check this one out. Make it your own. If you are doing a wax museum this year, I would love to kind of see how that would go using that template. So another one that, and again, I'm getting way ahead of myself. I can fully appreciate that there's a lot on this Wakewood collection. Take one thing to start, and I'll get into a call to action in a little bit, but take one thing away from this and say, you know what, I like that. Take that getting to know you activity away and get your students on here using the platform. When I was speaking with Christina the other day at the pre-session, one of the first things I did with my students was said, you know, I just told them, make a funny Mote message. I don't care about anything content-based. Keep it appropriate. Make it funny if you choose to do so. I want to hear from you. I want you to get on this platform. And before I knew it, I'm hearing stories about birds that flew away and all kinds of things. People sending me Mote messages when I was ill. It was just a really great connection with my students this last year at Red Bank Middle School. But for Mote Music Mondays, I'm kind of going with an ELA-centric type of template. And I did include the video walkthrough that I presented on this template right here embedded in. So you don't have to go far to see my rationale if you missed this session, you want to get more in depth. But basically, my rationale for this template is we're always trying to make connections with our students to connect the material we're learning at school to the real world. Well, I think I created a template here that really allows students to say, you know what, I just heard that in that song. I'm now going to kind of make that parallel between a literary device concept and music or a movie or a show. So basically what it is you're going to use this template to embed a YouTube video player for a song that represents some type of literary device. Now, in my case, I can't think of anything more recognizable, although I don't know about our friends in the UK, how much they know about Rocky. I would assume they do, but maybe not. I think that Eye of the Tiger is maybe one of the best, you know, songs that just incorporates so many different examples of literary devices. So I always believe in providing people who are going to take the risk of using a tech tool of, again, providing examples. And you can see that I've built in multiple types of choices for what students are going to contribute to. For those of us who are really trying to get our kids to contribute to a conversation, give them options that are all kind of related to the similar topic, but allowing them to share something that they're comfortable with. So basically, this is what a sample slide would look like, where I embedded the player. I also included the song lyrics to be more accessible. And I have another Mote player message that's giving instructions to my students who are going to make a copy of this template, or simply go into a group template that we're all going to collaborate on, record their Mote message to one of these 4 examples, and then simply click and drag their player into the box. Where then, as a teacher, I would be doing at morning meetings for each week. Let's listen to some of our highlighted responses from our students, where again, students wouldn't have to be on the spot. They'd be able to do this ahead of time and wouldn't have to be under that level of pressure. And once again, on this one, I have some higher education ideas, high school ideas, where let's let students create. Let's let the students make the connections themselves, where they're listening to their favorite song by the people that I don't enjoy, because I'm very old at this point. And they are picking out a song and then naming the literary device that represents in the lyrics that they're listening to. So I think that this is a great idea to really try with students who are very musical, but students who, let's say that they're watching television and they kind of notice that as well. That could kind of be incorporated in, even though the alliteration of Mote Music Mondays might change a little bit. So a lot of different options for you here. On both of these different slides, I kind of gave you different examples that you could incorporate with your class for literary devices. Now, let's keep it real. I'm an ex-math teacher. This could be translated to a math version so easily. It could be translated to a science version so easily, simply by asking students to take a picture of something that they found in the real world that represents the concept or the ideas that they're learning currently. And then they explain why that's the case. So that's another one. I would love to see some ELA teachers this year give that a try. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and then I'll give my call to action and everything else, is a Mote Seminar. And a lot of my rationale for this one is very similar to the Mote Wax Museum. That pressure that a lot of our kids are feeling these days, especially since the hybrid and remote learning years, I don't want them to feel that level of pressure if they prove to me that they understand the content, they're competent with it, and that they're engaged and enthusiastic. So basically, and I'm not going to get completely into this, I give a lot bigger rationale and explanation on this template simply because a Socratic seminar is it's kind of involved. It takes a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces. You're getting kids to participate. And the thing that I've seen in the Socratic seminars that I've run is you've got those same people in the fishbowl participating. I want to be able to get that planning in, that preparation period in before those sessions, so that if I feel like the participation is only coming from the people in the fishbowl, I could go into some Mote messages that are available on these slides that I could simply play and then present to my class. So really, this is one that you can kind of have an initial reaction slide to the song lyrics or a portion of a book, whatever you're doing with your class. And then you could almost treat those 6 boxes in the bottom right corner as your inner circle. So I provided you a roadmap of how I would kind of work through this. And there's still going to be that in-person aspect. This is not becoming some type of hybrid or remote type of project. This is simply where you're combining the best of both. You're enhancing your instruction. You're building up what you're already doing great by getting your kids more comfortable with the material and giving them the opportunity to shine in a way that's comfortable for them. So I gave you an example. Feel free to use this one. I would love to see it. It's an excellent song that the lyrics kind of promote this feeling of melancholy and sadness. But, then when you play the song, it's actually kind of joyous and promising. So I really think that this would be a great way. You can get into part 2 with response to the Mote messages that their classmates left. And then I kind of, again, offer different props where now students would just drag their player into whichever column they were responding to later on in the project. So this one is rather involved. I think that if you were really able to watch a Socratic seminar, I feel like that's kind of important to make this successful. But I also included a link on, I believe, a sample one for you to use. And you can even end it with a reflective activity, where I think that that's one of the most important things that kids are lacking these days. That ability to reflect on their own work and provide appropriate feedback to their classmates. So this would really give them that opportunity to do that. So I also included a Mote annotations and micro essay activity that involves Google Docs. I have 2 of the templates that I've created that I've kind of shared previously at Mote events, but I still feel really passionate about them, between this certificate template that I really do hope to bring to Long Branch Public Schools this year to really honor our students who go above and beyond. And I also have it where you can make a copy of a positive feedback Google form to really establish that system with your students for rewarding great behaviors and characteristics. Now for me, I've got to give a shout out to everybody who's kind of been doing webinars recently, because I see that there's call to actions. You know, I presented a bunch of fancy purple stuff. What now? What are we going to do with that information? So my call to action for everybody who's watching the replay, live, whatever, even maybe some of my Mote friends out there, is to visit that Mote Learning Zone, which I linked for you right here. And I want you to take one idea away to use in your class in that beginning month of school. So whether you're in Cali and you're just about to start, I think the UK kind of just ended school, but they're going to be coming back soon. If you're in Jersey like me and Lois and you're going back in about, oh gosh, about 2 weeks, come in here, take a look at some of the amazing ideas that are not just by me, but by our other amazing Mote Ambassador leaders. We go all the way back to Greg and other amazing individuals who were a part of this. Sue Trankina, I totally blanked there briefly, but so many great ideas that you can implement, and they are so easy to implement in your own class with your students. I also provided you some resources. If you are unfamiliar to Mote, never created an account, you'll be able to get a 60-day free trial of Mote Unlimited by clicking on this link. I did link the extension page on the Chrome Web Store, and then I'm promoting everybody. Take the time to go through the course modules on Mote. Your students will be glad you did. The guardians, their parents will be glad you did, because of how accessible everything is going to be as a result of this platform. We also have mine and Lois's collection from last year's MoteCon that incorporate other ideas. And if you want to get a sneak peek at what Lois and I are going to present a little bit later on today, we also have that collection. But all I could say is I'm absolutely thrilled to be a part of MoteCon once again. This is a platform that's very near and dear to my heart. And I just hope that everybody who's watching, again, whether it be live or a recording, I hope you can take one thing from here and follow that call to action. I'm challenging everybody out there. Take one idea, give it your best shot with your kids, and let's see what we can do this year with Mote while making some Mote magic in and out of the classroom.